What a Speedweeks it has been for the 2026 NR Racing 97 Speedweeks here at Daytona International Speedway. But it all started with the Paddock Clash last Thursday with Kyle Susswald getting the main event win. And then we had the debut race of the Kodak Dash Series on Saturday. And then on Monday this week started the real action with Daytona 500 qualifying. And then Wednesday was the duels, where we sent some unfortunate few drivers home. And then we had 5 legs for the Kodak Dash Series on Thursday night. And then yesterday was race 1 of the Krispy Kreme National Series, season number 4 for the Winn-Dixie 300. But now, the main event of NR Racing 97 Speedweeks is here, and 36 full-time drivers and 4 500 only cars will try and write their name in the history books and join a select few of 6 drivers in 6 seasons to win this prestigious race. It is the first crown jewel race of season 7 of the JBL Cup Series, and it is the season 7 Daytona 500 at the Daytona International Speedway. What's up, everyone? It's NR Racing 97, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and for the 7th time, welcome to Daytona International Speedway for the Daytona 500. This race, over the 6 seasons, have been very chaotic. We've seen caution-filled races like last year. We've seen 3 or 4 caution-filled races. We've seen flips everywhere on this racetrack. We've seen crashes in the trial, turn 4, turn 3, turn 2, turn 1. We've seen it all in the 6 previous editions of this race, and no doubt will we see another iconic one here today for the 7th running of the Daytona 500. So many storylines into this race, and we're going to touch on them here in the start of the race and throughout the entire race as well. And we got a long-time commentator at this point in the series, multi-season commentator, and was the former owner of Team Penske. We got Bronson Merrick up here. It is season 7 Bronson, and it is the Daytona 500.
Man, time goes by so fast, Nathan. I cannot believe this is the 7th running of the JBL Daytona 500, but we are here. We have made it through all of the Dash, the Clash, and the Feeder Series, and it leads up to this moment for all these drivers, for all the open drivers that race their way here into this event, Nathan. It all comes down to this, and we are here finally a lap away pretty much to getting it squared off. But I've been out of the loop, so about those storylines, what has happened to lead us to this moment?
Well, kicking things off with the storylines, we have 4 Daytona 500 only cars out of the 10 that made it, and first 2 that made it in on speed were Cement Oscar, who was on pole for the Daytona 500 after being the last car out in qualifying on Monday night. And then it was William Ayers that was the 2nd fastest in qualifying. Duel number 1, Tanner Pun, easily made it into the show. And that's not the first time that 0-2 car for Team Penske has. That car won a Daytona 500 with Raleigh Spillage just a couple of seasons ago. And then on the very last lap, it was a battle between David Dixon and Reggie Fogelman. The 84 and 07. David Dixon had it off turn 4. But Reggie Fogelman got a great run to the trial, and by half a car length, he got the 40th and final spot into the Daytona 500. And then, of course, the storylines continue without dual winners. Jordan Stout, last year's Daytona 500 champion, stole the dual 1 victory from the 98 barely at the line. He was going to start third no matter what, but he wanted to win the dual race, and he won it by just a nose. And then Jordan Evers, he also had to earn it. He dominated his duel, but Alex Samatore almost got there and almost stole it from him. So that's how we've gone up to this point. It's been a surprisingly dominant one from this 98 High-At Motorsports car of Cement Oskin, and it has been the Jordan and Jordan show in both of the dual races. Yesterday, in the Krispy Kreme National Series race, Matthew Bennett dominated and won the Speedweeks National Series Winn-Dixie 300. And if he wins here today, that will be a Daytona sweep on the weekend. But Boston, that's some of the stories, and we got more throughout the field. But this is a race that is very hard to win. Only 6 names in the 6 seasons have won it. No back-to-back winners so far. Jordan Stout has a chance to do that here today. But this is a track where anything can happen in a 50-lap race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the time that it's been 7 years, 7 seasons now, but yet only 6 drivers can claim that they have won this race. Only 6, Nathan. So there's a lot of prestige that comes with this, that for the entire season you can claim that you are a Daytona 500 champion, and you can add your list, you can add the name to you can add your name to the list of those who can call themselves Daytona 500 winners, Nathan. So that's a lot of prestige. Everybody from the back, starting in the back, they're thinking about that. But one man who's not thinking about that, he already is off to an amazing start in this race. Cement Osgood starting on pole position.
Absolutely, and this was the highlight of qualifying on Monday night. Last call out, stole it from Bryce Egan, who looked very strong in that 16 machine. And for Cement Oskin, he's not in either series, so this is, as far as we know, this only start this year for most of the year on this channel, and he's trying to make the most for it. And think back to it a season or two ago, I think 2 seasons ago, Avery Alford dominated this race but got wet late, and then Spurley got the job done. So it's not impossible for these Daytona 500 only cars of Cement Oskin, William Ayers, Tanner Pone, and Reggie Folkman to get the job done, but they are outnumbered by 36 other full-time drivers. Here is the top 10 for the Season 7 Daytona 500. It's Cement Oskin on the pole for Hyatt Motorsports in this very iconic Dogecoin car. And then alongside him is Bryce Egan in the number 16. And then role number 2, it is the dual number 1 and dual number 2 winners, Jordan Stout and Jordan Edwards. Joe Witkowski is starting in 5th. And then 6th, it is Alexander Charlet. And then it is BP Ruiz and Travis Scranton, who has the longest active winner streak in the JBL Cup Series as of this recording, 6.4 years ago in season number 2. And then rounding out the top 10 is Tanner Pun and Bucky Campo in the number 10. Gonna go through the rest of the grid here so you can find where you're at. We have 40 drivers, and at this point, we have some of the best in the business on the JBL Cup Series circuit. And we gotta see how it all goes down. And there's the Power Clash winner, starting 39th, but I guarantee you, Sushwite's not gonna stay that back there for long. And we gotta see what ends up happening. 50 laps on tap here, as always, for the JBL Cup Series Daytona 500. Alright, Bronson, we have talked about all the storylines going into this year's Daytona 500, and there are a ton. And for season number 7, it's 30 races. 29 of them matter. Race 2 at Atlanta is going to be where everyone worries about the points, but no one cares about points here today. They just want to join an exclusive list of 6 drivers enjoying the record books as a Daytona 500 champion. Who do you think will win the Season 7 JBL Cup Series Daytona 500 here today?
Well, you got that absolutely correct. Exclusive indeed. Only 6 drivers. We only come to this race once a year, and for these drivers that don't win it, a year is quite literally a millennia. With that said, Nathan, I believe the 23 Jordan Stout starting inside second row. He is my pick to get it done here in the Daytona 500. Won it last year, won his duel, so he's got an extremely fast car this time around, much like last year. Absolutely no reason saying that he cannot win it, but I mean, we might see 3 wide. We're most definitely going to see 3 wide. We might even see a straight 4 wide situation. We do not want to see that, Nathan, especially with how racy we are going to get. But with that said, with 3 wide, 4 wide, it is anyone's race. But as far as my heart goes, I believe it's going to be Jordan Stout that gets it done from inside second lane.
Jordan Stout won his duel. Jordan Stout won the Power Truck Series fall race at Talladega last year, and he is trying to go back-to-back in this race, and it's going to be tough because literally Cement Oskin can win, and literally Zachary Fitzwater, the NR2003 legend, can win from 40th. The real season starts next week at Atlanta. However, everyone wants to win this one. Cement Oskin and Bryce Egan will lead us to the green for Season 7. JBL Cup Series Daytona 500 is underway at the Daytona International Speedway. Side by side with the front row, just flip-flopped and at the line. I can't tell you who led that lap. That was too close to call, but I believe it was Matt Oskin. And it was. It took the officials a second to figure out with how close it was for lap number 1. And here comes the duel number 2 winner, Jordan Edwards, who dominated his duel just like what Matt Oskin did, but Oskin got second in it. And here comes the other duel winner of Jordan Stout on this inside lane, but his dual partner is going to ditch him here down the back stretch and entering turn 3 and 4.
And Stout tried to pinch him there on the inside, trying to save that inside, but Rakowski was there nonetheless with help from BB Ruiz behind. Stout's going to be put 3 wide and pushed in that sucker hole. Meanwhile, it's Bryce Egan and Jordan Edwards there side by side. We might even see 4 wide here, Nathan, if Samantha Osgood gets back in it, but it's going to be 3 wide. Give it to Edwards there at the line, but here comes Rakowski to the inside at turn number 1. 3 wide, the entire pack, Nathan. Look at this. Bryce Egan controlling all the lanes here at Daytona. Exiting turn number 2 onto the backstretch. Here comes Rakowski from a huge push from the 2 car from Team Penske. But Egan's going to jump out to the outside with help there from Osgood, the pole sitter. Second place and first place starting grid now. They're on the outside, but here comes Rakowski, another big push from Ruiz. I think you might want Ruiz behind you being a big push. Here comes the pole sitter to the outside with a huge push from the other Penske car in Sabatali, but Egan is going to lead that lap.
These Penske cars look like they are good at pushing here today. Ruiz all over the back bumper of Rakowski, and Jordan all over the back bumper of Smith Oskin. And you got a lot of forwards up top. Got Sam Vitale, Crampton, and Tanapon up here, and you got to be very careful. This is 50 laps, the longest race of the week, and you gotta be very careful. We've not had a wreck yet. Luckily, these guys have been so calm, not normal of what we see here at Daytona. But Cement Oskin out front in this 98 machine was fastest in qualifying, dominated his duel, but barely lost it to Jordan Stout, and he is in the lead on lap number 5, but Sam Vitale, he looked strong in his duel. He got second in duel number 2, and he looked strong in this number 12 machine. He's been here at Team Penske for this entire time, and you know one thing or two about him, Bronson, he has won a Southern 500 before in the JBL Cup Series.
Absolutely. He is an absolute star driver, whether that be a Darlington type track or even a super speedway Daytona Talladega type track. He is your guy. That's why for my time there being the team owner at Penske, he was doing such a great job. Easily the best driver that we had there, consistently getting it done. But he's there riding up on that outside, being the first car there, leading this entire outside train. And look at this pack, Nathan, 3 wide the entire way back, 3 by 3 by 3. Egan there on the inside, lost his inside spot to the other Penske car, that being BB Ruiz, with help behind from the rookie Bucky Campbell. And Osgood's going to wash up track. Here comes BB Ruiz to the inside, and Osgood's going to be pushed to the outside from help. And there goes the 48 there off the main pack.
And honestly, Andy Miller, he is a seasoned veteran. He might be saying, hey, this pack is already 3 by 3 by 3. I just want to lay back here in case things go crazy here early in the Daytona 500. BB Ruiz is going to lead this lap in the number 98. Actually, I don't know if he's going to beat the 98. That was too close to call. And he did barely by probably a thousandth of a second. Bucky Campbell on move in the number 10. Carl Racing showed a lot of speed in qualifying. Here comes Ronald Kennington, Trey Barlow, Juan Garcia, the defending champion who started 31st, Matthew Hubert, Duncan Alveston, Nick Lopez, William Ayers, all on this inside lane. We will see almost everybody throughout this one in the Daytona 500. And like I said earlier, there's two lanes where you want to be, Bronson, that inside lane or the outside lane, because BB Ruiz is stuck in the middle along with Bryce Egan and Joe Rutkowski.
Absolutely, and there's some very fast cars stuck in that sucker hole. And if you're Osgood, you do not want to be pushed in there at all costs. You need to stay either on the outside where he is right now or on the inside where now Kennington emerges, a very great driver from last season, trying to get it done here this season. Very promising drive, very promising campaign that he had, and now he is leading the Daytona 500 down the backstretch with help from Trey Bardo behind in the Hendrick number 24. I believe behind him is Juan Garcia, that is in the 20 car. And it is all pushing the entire pack. There goes Travis Crampton in the 60 car there, poking his nose out just a little bit, trying to cool his engine maybe a little bit. Look at this pack, Nathan. It is so tight. It is going to be so tough here at the line. Who's going to get it? Give it to Osgood there on that outside, still holding strong. Bucky Campbell still hanging on with help from BB Rose behind. Still 3x3x3x3. The entire pack going into turn number 1. Anyone's game, but we do not want to see 4 wide, especially so early, and especially with this pack being so crammed together.
Absolutely. We've not seen this all speed week long. The duels were mostly 2 and maybe a little bit of 3 wide, but they were not 3 wide this packed up together in the duels. They were 3 wide, but there was a gap between a lot of the cars, and Trey Barlow was trying to beat here 4 wide for the race lead, but he's going to think better. Barlow got to think better. I know he might have a faster car than Ronald Kennington, because Kennington was able to get up here, but he cannot get past Bucky Campbell and Cement Oskin. But if Trey Barlow really winner here at Daytona in the summer race here, and you gotta be careful. It's fairly early on in the Daytona 500, only lap 10 of 50, and when everyone is like this, if you make it 4 wide, that's going to end badly for almost the entire field. And it's just gridlocked. The 12 gets such a great push to the 98 down the straightaways, and then Barlow gives the 19 of Kennington a great push in the corners here.
Yeah, and that middle lane is definitely holding together a lot better than I thought it would. I thought it was just going to be, that sucker hole that you just fell back and then it would reorder itself.
Oh no!
In the tri-oval. There's the 51 involved. That's Joshua Neely, the rookie. Everybody here, 3x3 in the pack, stays together. There's Eli Bright, who comes back up the banking. Oh, on the 23, Jordan Stout, he's involved in it. He has some damage. He was involved in it. The 22 of Bradley Ream, he's involved. Everybody, though, still rolling. We are still green, though. I believe the caution does fly, so we will come. Yep, the caution flies. We will come back around to the caution flag where we will see what happens, but big crash already on lap number 10.
And unfortunately, that looked like the short end of the stick was yesterday's National Series winner of Matthew Burnett in the 6th machine. Had the most damage from what I saw. It doesn't look like a huge crash per se. A lot of drivers, I think, missed it or saved it. But the first time all Speedweeks long, Bronson, in the duels, in the National Series race, in the Kodak Dash Series, we have our first caution here in Speedweeks in 2026.
And it was only a matter of time, maybe because we didn't have any crashes, they were saving their stuff, all of their stuff for this race. Now they're just going all willy-nilly, just, I guess, attempting to blow their stuff up, wreck each other. But, man, when you have a streak like that going, you don't really expect to have it wreck. But alas, here in the Daytona 500, where you just leave everything out, try to go as hard as you can, you will have crashes like that. Quite a few cars are involved in this one, Nathan.
Yeah, quite a few. The 51 has a lot of damage. The 22 has some light side damage. The 88 of Eric Monaco. Jordan Stout might be okay. And then the 6 Burnett I saw got on 2 wheels a little bit. So I do think...
big back end damage.
Yeah, and a lot of background damage. Unfortunately for Burnett, he's not going to be able to sweep the Daytona weekend here. But I don't think a lot of cars were involved, so I think we should be okay for the most part. No one is even on pit lane yet, so we gotta see what ended up happening right exiting the quad oval. And because we only have a 2-lap caution period here to maximize as much racing as possible, let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of Speedweeks and the first caution of the Season 7 Daytona 500. Well, here we go, lap 10 entering lap 11, and this is a strange one. Not even full wide. Eric Monaco did a side draft entering turn, entering the tri-oval, and we've seen a couple of close side drafts all speed week long, and this one did not work out. And for Monaco, we got into the rookie of Joshua Neely, and then nowhere to go for Matthew Burnett, yesterday's National Series winner in the number 6 machine. And this sets up all these guys behind him. Bradley Ream is going to get some damage right there in the number 88. And then a lot of these guys are going to scatter. Emily Watson spins in the background. And then nowhere to go for Zachary Fitzwater. Holiday into the 51 there. And then nowhere to go. Duncan Wood trying to get past, following his teammate, but he gets a tap, and that's going to have him be slow for a lot of this one. Great performance from Andrew Miller, Alexander Rowe, and a lot of these drivers back here. Could have been a lot worse. And a great job from Eli Bright for not merging himself into these guys back here with that save. A lot of saves and a relatively minor incident here for the first caution of the Daytona 500.
Full speed here coming in the tri-oval. Not even a 4-wide situation, just very aggressive side draft from the 88. Bounces a backup track and ignites the very big one very early on. Emily York Watson there spinning a big shunt there from Zachary Fitzwater. Everybody keeps going though with damage. That's how we're under caution here, Nathan, for the very first time here in the Daytona 500.
And a fairly weird situation indeed. We've seen that before, but it's been a while since we've seen a side draft gone wrong, and we gotta see how much damage some of these drivers have, like Sam Adio. I think Watson's gonna be okay with the 360, but the 51 is gonna be really slow. Duncan Wood's probably gonna be slow with that big hit. But a lot of drivers should be okay here in this one in the Daytona 500. And racing back to the line, I believe it was the number 98 that won the race back to the line. And let's go ahead and get back to the restart in the Season 7 Daytona 500. Alright, welcome back to Daytona. We will go back going on lap 14 next time by. We do have a few cars on pit lane. Zachary Fitzwater, Eli Bright, Matthew Burnett, Joshua Neely, Emily Hewitt Watson, Duncan Wood, and Bradley Ream. And we gotta watch out for these guys, because I said in the Discord earlier in the week, if we have slow cars that are significantly off the pace, unlike years past, I will DQ them to try and have a bigger pack as long as possible. It's only race 1, so that's why. But hopefully we don't have too many cars that are significantly slow, like 175 or below. But it will be the number 98 of Cement Oskin as the race leader, barely over Bucky Campo, Ronald Kennington, Alex San Vitale, B.B. Ruiz, Trey Butler, Travis Crampton, Bryce Egan, Juan Garcia, and Jordan Edwards rounds out the top 10. And then just outside the top 10, you got Joe Bukowski, Matthew Hubert, Duncan Alverson, Logan Williams, and Nick Lopez, the top 15. No one is out from that crash, but some might be out from the winning of this year's Daytona 500. Still a long way to go, and it will be led by Cement Oskin and the number 98 for Hyatt Motorsports.
Yeah, and the pole sitter, not much changing there up front other than Bucky Campbell right behind, though he's a good pusher. A lot of speed from that calling 10. Green flag in the Daytona 500 is back out. Kennington all over the back bumper of Campbell, trying to get around already. He's going to stick behind Campbell. Very orderly start. Wonder how long it's going to take for him to get back in that gridlock 3x3x3, the entire pack. Look at this gap between Osgood and Campbell there. Sam Vitale trying to take a peek to the outside. He does briefly. Now he is going to commit up there. No. Brings it back down to the middle. Osgood with like a 2-car length lead from himself and Campbell. Here comes the rest of the pack. Here comes Kennington. Here comes Campbell there, taking a look to the inside. Obviously, Osgood no help, and with ease, it's going to be Campbell sweeping around the inside. Here comes Trey Barter with an aggressive 3-wide move, putting the 2 Penske cars there on the outside. Of course, Bradley Ream, he sustained a massive amount of damage in that last caution. These are pretty much going to be the only 2 Penske cars, excluding the O2, that will be in competition here. But Trey Barter makes quick work of that. We'll go from P whatever he was to P3, battling with Kennington in a turn number 1. But for now, it is Bucky Campbell leading the Daytona 500.
And we gotta see of how long it takes for everyone to get back up into this lead pack, because it did take about a lap or so to get up to speed. We got a lot of cars single file here. And how about Kyle Sestrai started in the back, and he's up inside of the top 20. And then you got Bruno Giacomo, Eli Boyce just outside of the top 20. If you can get single file, you will be okay for the most part. And also, we don't know what ended up happening because we look at the replays after. But definitely a couple of slow cars in the back, like Neely, Burnett, and Bradley Ream, Duncan Wood as well. Same as Zachary Fitzwater, unfortunately. But it's been racing up front as here comes Baby Ruiz and the number 2 machine on the inside. And wouldn't this be a story? Travis Crampton has not won in this series, besides a duel, since season 2 at Kansas. As, oh my goodness, speaking of the devil, Travis Crampton trying to make it 4 wide, but Kennington's gonna let Buttle in, and Travis is being aggressive here today. I see what his smile is for the season. He doesn't care. He wants that longest winless streak in the series to end here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if making it 4 wide is a great decision so early after the caution, so early after the very first caution of Speedweeks, but Travis Crampton does what Travis Crampton does. We keep rolling. We are still green. Meanwhile, Bucky Campbell still leading the Daytona 500, commanding all 3 lanes, but not for long, because here comes Travis Crampton with a big run, a big push from the 20 of Juan Garcia. He's going to take it 3 wide now, and now we're going to have that 3x3 back once again. Here comes Garcia down the inside. Travis Crampton is going to be put 3 wide. Maybe this middle will remain strong once again. Fitzwater, unfortunately, off the pace, but never minding that. Juan Garcia leading this pack in the Daytona 500 with help, and here comes 4 wide once again in the tri-oval. This is not where you want to have it, Nathan. Still so tight here in the Daytona 500. Garcia got out of that situation very fast, very much in time. They're rubbing. That is the 5, and Crampton. That's Hubert, Crampton, side by side, making contact. Are they going to be able to sort it out? That's Logan Williams as well on the outside. They're still touching. They're still so tight.
Oh, and there they go.
They're wrecking down the backstretch. There goes.
Oh, my goodness.
And Garcia's up and over. He's on his nose. Here comes the rest of the pack.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Juan Garcia flew in the air, and luckily most of the second pack was able to get through it. And I think these guys were saving the wrecking for the 500. A big time wreck down the back switch that you normally don't see. And when right when I was about to check on Fitzwater to see how he was doing, that's not going to matter right now, as Logan Williams is going to win the race back to the line. That was second caution in 20 laps, and that could be the last one because that took out quite a few cars.
At just under halfway, Nathan, Logan Williams leads under caution, and then you have Nick Lopez behind, and then the open car, William Ayers in the anti-humor car, the 67. Then behind, look at this, that's Kenneth Miller in P number 4, who escapes the carnage. Here comes the pace car, and look at the 17 starting from the very back of the field, Nathan. Kyler Sustry, an amazing wreck avoidance, and here comes everyone else who might have sustained damage. I don't know. Everybody seems clean, but more surprised that the 17 of Sustry is back in this once again, because patience is the greatest gift of 17's luck here at Daytona so far, but man, what a wreck. We saw Garcia up and over and on his nose flying down the backstretch.
Add that to the list of things I've never seen before here at Daytona. Oh my goodness, I feel so bad for Bucky Campbell. Luckily, kind of like the first one, doesn't look like a ton of cars win it. More than the first one, but I'm seeing a lot of cars up here bouncing that I thought was going to have damage that don't. And we gotta see how this all shakes out. Tough play for Cement Oscar. He might have some damage in the 98 machine. Same with BP Ruiz. Showakowski's gonna go down pit lane. But that second pad, luckily, was able to avoid most of it. So I do think we have quite a few cars still left in the running here. Going towards the 30 lap to go mark in the 500. Let's go ahead and see what happened for the second caution in the Season 7 Daytona 500. Well, here we go. This is going to be added to the montage clip in the future for the Daytona 500. Nick Lopez made full wide on his teammate Juan Garcia and Matthew Hubert, and Travis Crampton and Logan Williams all followed through. And then Hubert and Crampton is going to squeeze down the back stretch. Another thing we don't normally see here at Daytona. And then into that side wall, nowhere to go for Bucky Campbell. Or the number 20 of Juan Garcia, one of the most all-time winningest drivers on the channel. Everyone scatters behind him in this lead pat. And then watch Trey Barlow. He's going to get hit. And he's going to slam this number 20 of Juan Garcia at an awkward angle into the outside wall. And I just don't know how to describe it. Juan Garcia does a endo, nose over, and does a barrel roll. Tatum Pong goes sliding through the infield grass down the back switch, which I wish we still had in real life. But great record performance from all these guys except for Sarah Taylor. Bailey gets clipped in the number 99. And that is basically everyone. Just like the first crash, it was spectacular, but not a ton of damage for too many people. But that was very disappointing to see that happen right after the restart. Tough break for a lot of these guys like Crampton, Hubert, Bucky Campbell, Trey Barlow, Juan Garcia, Tampon. Welcome to Daytona, and the second caution already here in the Daytona 500.
Here we go, going into turn number 1. It starts all right here, exiting the tri-oval, where Hubert gets pushed 3 wide there by the 60 of Travis Crampton. Juan Garcia trying to block all lanes he can. Nick Lopez is already to the inside, nothing he can do, and they're just squeezing Hubert and Crampton there. And then look at this admission for Juan Garcia. Ticket for 1, up and over, on his nose, pirouettes on his nose, looking straight down to the track, and what a wreck that we just saw. That should be used in weekly montages there, Nathan. That was cool. That was so cool.
We've had a lot of crazy wets, and we've had a lot of cool wets here at Daytona, and I can think of a couple years ago here in turn 3 where it looked like some of the most realistic crash I've ever seen at Daytona. So we've had some really cool crashes, but it's not going to be a cool crash for Sarah Taylor, Juan Garcia, Trey Barlow, Travis Crampton, Matthew Hubert, and others, as their 500 is going to end in the garage here early, and we're not even halfway through this one in the Daytona 500. It will be the number 17, the Pilot Crash winner of Carlos Sestri, bringing us back to the green, and let's get to the restart here in the Season 7 Daytona 500. Well. We have kept it clean all speed weeks, and now we are destroying them here in one of the biggest races of the season. It will be Logan Williams out for Nick Lopez, Ramirez, Kenneth Miller, Carlos Sestri, the Clash winner from a week and a half ago, Jordan Edwards, Duncan Alveston, Anthony Hernandez, Eli Bright, Jordan Stout, Carlson Miller, just outside of the top 10, same deal, Fogelman, Abel, Emily Watson, Kennington, and then Egan and Giacomo round out the top 20. We still have quite a few cars on the racetrack. We're going to have about 34 on the racetrack still after that big but that I thought was going to be huge. But honestly, Juan Garcia flew in there. He's done. Trey Barlow's done, unfortunately. John Andrews is done. Sarah Taylor's done, and Bucky Campbell is done. Don't know about the O2. No, the O2 is still going. So we're still going to have 35 colors out here, but after that big one, we are definitely going to have to keep an eye on the speeds of some drivers to make sure that they're not too slow. But we still got 30 laps to go, Bronson, and these guys, they kept it clean all week and everything, and they have definitely decided to go crazy here in the Daytona 500. Logan Williams will lead us back to the green.
All the drivers at the ready. Logan Williams put on the gas. Green flag is back out here at Daytona. Big jump from the 38 there. Here comes William Ayers. Jumps to the inside of Lopez with help from Miller behind. Sustry will stick it to the outside. One of the dual winners there. Jordan Edwards. He'll go to the inside with help from Anthony Hernandez. Everybody's going to try and get back in order. Here comes Eli Bright. They're not undeciding, rather, very indecisive, rather, on which lane to pick, but everybody gaining speed. It takes about a lap to get back up to full speed. The 9 car almost put 3 wide there. Sustry to the inside, pushing 41, and then Ayers trying to make a run there at Logan Williams. It's going to be Williams that leads back here at Daytona.
About a lap up to speed now. These guys will be up to speed here very soon. In fact, they might be. William is going to be full time, and oh my goodness, what a move from is from top to bottom, right in front of Kenneth Miller, and he's going to drop to the bottom to his National Series teammate of Logan Williams there in the 38 for the race lead, and Reggie Folkman is on the move. And how about Kyle Sustry? He's trying to get his first points win in the JBL Cup Series. He won the Clash, but not a first points win. He might get the job done after saving it, and he's the last LFK car left standing after what happened to Burnett and Crampton. Already 3 wide up here in the pack, and we're going to take a quick check on Fitzwater. Fitzwater is going 180. Tampon's going 180. Might have some drafting up. They might be all okay with the draft in some way, shape, or form, so they might be okay for this one. And Sustry going for the race lead with help from Carlos Miller and Nicholas Samadillo.
Big push down the backstretch, entering the backstretch. Sustry is going to move to the middle there. Hopefully he doesn't get 4 wide again. Oh my goodness, Nathan, we're going to go 4 wide once again. This time for the lead at Daytona. Sustry leading on Nick Lopez. Logan Williams there, who just barely escaped the last big one there on the outside. They're leading once again there on the middle. That is Carson Miller, and they're wrecking. There goes Sustry backwards in front of the pack, and we're going to go back under caution again. Looks like a simple spin, but we got to watch out for the rest of the pack that's going to come in here. Watch out, everybody. Logan Williams.
Not too bad. A little bit of contact.
Haley Anderson Jr. there. The one of Giacomo courtesy spin. Oh, and here comes Tanner Parton and Zachary Fitzwater just at the last second, Nathan.
Well, that was definitely the most minor crash we've seen here today. But some checking after the fact, and that's gonna hurt, especially Duncan Ward and the 51 there. And I jinxed it. I jinxed it. I said that Sustry was the last car left for LFK, and we'll see how much damage Sustry eventually ends up having. Still has to get his position back. So, what a interesting 500. You know, last year went caution free. All week long it went caution free, and not today. These guys are going crazy, and it is a teammate to Jordan Stout who won this race last year. It's Carson Miller now out for it in the number 35.
Yeah, that's a very good opportunity. He was there on the inside, kind of pushed the envelope there. I'm not going to say whose fault it was because we're not going to be able to get to see the replay just yet. We're going to view it at the end of the race, but Carson Miller, he is the beneficiary of that carnage. But Nathan, good grief, what a start to this, and we're just about to reach halfway. Sustry is going to jump down to pit road, but all I can say is good grief.
Oh my goodness. If you can't tell, this is the Daytona 500 and everyone wants to win it. I don't know what to tell you. Let's go ahead and see what happened for the third caution of the day as we get to the halfway point in the Season 7 Daytona 500. Here we go. This is what happened to bring out the third caution in the first half of the Daytona 500, and you will see the Monster Energy 54 Nick Lopez from top to middle makes it 4 wide through the middle. Right when Logan Williams is going to be on the outside, and right when Carson Miller is going to be on the inside. And unfortunately, this is not going to work out here off of turn 4 and in the trial. And right about there, Nick Lopez and Logan Williams squeeze with Kyle Sustry, and Sustry is going to go into the outside wall. Same with Jordan Edwards a little bit, but honestly, this is probably the most calm crash of the day, as the 17 just gets pushed by Logan Williams on the outside wall. And then the 38-9, 4, 41, 7, 16, 3, 1. They all do a great job avoiding these guys of just pushing Sustry. And that's unfortunate for the 17 of Kyle Sustry. And then here on the back, we have the second pad that they stacked up a little bit. Howie Hansen Jr. into Kyle Sustry. And that's where the 6 gets his front end damage. And then the 1 gets spun a little bit here, entering turn number 1. And then in the back here, I believe it's going to be Duncan Wood with his damage. And there's just a lot of stack up after the crash, unfortunately. But that's what ended up happening to bring out the third caution in the first 25 laps in the Daytona 500.
Off turn number 4, 4 wide already created. So much pinching, so much space not given, and it results in what seems to be the most minor crash that we've had so far, Nathan. We are only 27 or 26 laps to deciding this Daytona 500. Look at this main pack coming with a huge head of steam, and then right here, Bruno Giacomo hit by Logan Williams. Look at this main pack coming back in, and look at these 2 stragglers. That's Tanner Parton and Zachary Fitzwater coming into the picture. He said, I want to be in this crash. Tanner Parton spins in courtesy. Zachary Fitzwater may have gotten a piece of that as well. And Nathan, that is how we've gotten the third caution just in the first half so far. I wonder what the rest of this race will bring. Will we see any more since there's been so many crashes with so many cars? Or is that all we'll see?
We gotta wait and see. I've seen crashes with smaller pats than what we have. We have about 16, 18 cars in the lead pat with Carson Miller, I believe, as the race leader here. So let's go ahead and see if this is the last caution or not here in the Season 7 JBL Cup Series Daytona 500. Well, we've seen some 500s like this in the past, but maybe not quite to this extent. What a chaotic first 25 laps in the Daytona 500. These drivers are going for it, and when you have so many drivers that have not won in the JBL Cup Series yet, this is what happens. Everyone wants to get the first one in the biggest one, or one of the biggest ones all year long. Carson Miller out front, Nicholas Sam with Dio, Emily, York Watson, Ronald Kennington, Nick Lopez, William Ayers, Reggie Volkman, Jordan Stout, Aaron Abel, and Eli Bright rounds out the top 10. Everyone is still going after that crash with being so minor, but Duncan Ward, who Blake Chat, he is officially out of the running in this race. We still have about 34 cars on the racetrack, but obviously not all of them are up to speed. And once again, we will keep an eye on if they are going more than 175, 180. But we gotta see what ends up happening. It's been a wreckfest in the first half. Let's see what happens in the second half. 25 laps down, 25 laps to go in the Daytona 500 San Diego with a great restart on Carson Miller, and he's instantly going to go for the race lead.
Carson Miller, the rookie, definitely showing his immaturity there on that start. Sam Dio has a bit of experience here in the JBL Cup Series, jumps to the inside, and will happily take the lead. Nobody is going to help out the stranded Carson Miller rookie. He's going to fall all the way back. Not even Lopez is going to help him. Lopez will stay behind JGR teammate in Kennington. York Watson's going to stay to the outside. Meanwhile, Kennington jumps to the inside. Lopez goes 3 wide for some reason. I'm not sure why Lopez decided to go 3 wide, abandon his teammate, but here comes William Ayers in the anti-Huber car, 67, coming back in this and taking a look, talking about drivers that are back in this. Look at further back there. You see the 23, Jordan Stout, my pick for this race win. Back in this, stumbled just a little bit, trying to avoid all of that carnage. Back in this thing. Don't count him out. Don't count out the 16 here of Bryce Egan, another rookie, putting Rogel Dorn 3 wide there in the middle. Everybody else strung out with damage. The pole sitter has a bit of damage. Look at the 6 car here with so much damage. His entire, oh my goodness, look at all these cars. Look at the 6 car there. No front end, no back end, and is barely keeping up with anybody here, Nathan. But all of that happened, and here comes Ayers to the inside, trying to take a peek there on York Watson.
Absolutely. After that checkup, there's definitely quite a few drivers that are severely off the pace, and you might have to DQ some drivers now after that one, because there are definitely some cars like Burnett, unfortunately, that definitely is off the pace here. But normally, when we get to Daytona, when we have the scenario, when we have less cars, they can normally keep it straight, and they can normally keep it to double file. As Sam Adil's going to side draft Emily York Watson there off of the corner. We only have about 15 cars in the lead draft. Bruno Diacomo in 16th trying to hang on in the number 1 machine. And then you got Ian Miller and Kenneth Miller back here. But that's it. Everyone else is losing the draft. Cranston still is decently on speed, but has lost the lead draft. And this is it. Everyone in this lead pack will have a chance at this race win now, with still about 22 laps to go in the Daytona 500.
That's the thing I don't understand about these wrecks, Nathan, is that there is so much time left in this. You would expect all of this aggression, all of this carnage, all of this absolute demolition here in the Daytona 500, maybe with 10 laps to go, not with 25 to go, not with 30 to go, but definitely something I would not expect out of these drivers. But meanwhile, it is Nicholas Samadillo from the outside line, jumping to the middle, probably jumps to the inside to block William Ayers, unless he's going to let the 67 there on the inside. He will. The 77 and the 67 going to battle it out. Samadillo is going to have the car, he's going to have the run, and he's going to clear the 67 to lead yet another one here in the Daytona 500. We have our own little mini pack here. Little note about Andrew Miller in the 48 all the way back, just entering turn number 1. Saw him there in the main pack very early in the race, kind of separate himself, kind of fall off. Very smart move, I would say, Nathan, considering everything that's happened in the last 20 or so laps.
Absolutely. Miller, Amanda Miller, the seasoned veteran, dropped to the bat, and he has made it through everywhere. He's not in the lead pack, though, but he's still going to get a top 20 finish when at one point that would have been crazy. And Reggie Fogelman, don't do this. We've seen enough of this already here today. 3 wide through the entire pack. You got a couple of drivers thinking better. How about Bruno Diacomo? I thought he was going to lose the draft, but he's up here. And look at all these drivers that have not won in the JBL Cup Series. Nicholas Samadillo, Juan Connington, Will Mayers, Reggie Folkerman, Emily York Watson, Duncan Alston, you got Bryce Egan, Jordan Edwards, if I didn't say it already, Carson Miller, Anthony Hernandez, Bruno Diacomo. So many drivers in the sleep pad have not won yet in the JBL Cup Series. And like I said, we could see that happen here today, but Sam Dio might be one of the strongest cars in this league 16-17 car pack.
We are seeing Fogelman there. He is poking his nose there on that inside when it's already a 3 wide situation, trying to make it a 4 wide disaster class. Fogelman should probably lay off just a little bit, maybe wait 15 or so laps, but finally we see some separation. Samadillo finally breaks away from the main pack. So does Ayers. See all these stragglers there making their own pack. Bunch of Penske cars here. There's Tanner Parton. There was the 22, I believe it was, Bradley Ream, and Alex Sanvitali. There's Parton taking a look to the inside of the absolutely demolished 6 car of Matthew Burnett. There's the 51, absolute carnage. Same thing with the 6 car of Burnett there. That was Joshua Neely. No front end, no back end. but is still racing here at Daytona. York Watson, with help from Eli Bright behind, challenging William Ayers down into turn number 2. 3 wide behind this battle. And a push from the 3 car to the 07 of Reggie Fogelman, rather. It's very cordial right now, I would say, Nathan, right now. I think everybody's starting to realize, oh, there's still racing left. Like, let's not go 4 wide.
Yeah, we still got plenty of time. I think Nicholas Samuel, he's only in the second season in this Cup Series, but he is a veteran over in the Wassup Cup Series. So he's doing a good job, and these guys have finally calmed down. And this is going to be interesting because all these guys in this train are going the same amount of speed. So it's going to be fairly hard for me to even DQ them for going about 180. But we gotta see how this all goes down. Maybe these guys can do a decent job. This has been an interesting 500, but we still have about, give or take, 16 cars in the lead draft. So it's definitely gonna be interesting, and Label might be losing it a little bit. But Sam and Dia wants one that's fairly strong, and Reggie Folkman needs to stop doing this, peeking down to the inside on one of his former cars that he owned last season, of the number 9 on a side draft from Kennington.
It's a very aggressive side draft there in the tri-oval from Kennington, but I think we're starting to see who the most dominant cars are going to be in this race. Definitely Sam and Dio at the moment, the most dominant car, the fastest car so far here in the Daytona 500. But as I say that, York Watson gets the draft to the quarter panel, and here comes York Watson. Oh. We have a car blowing up, and that is Alex Sanvitali getting out of everyone's way. The 12 car's engine has expired. Out of everyone's way. Good job, Alex Sanvitali. But meanwhile, side by side for the lead for the first time in a good little bit, challenging Samadillo rather, is Emily York Watson side by side. Who's going to get back to lead this lap from help from William Ayers behind? It's going to be Samadillo who leads yet another one.
And oh boy, we are about to catch up to the train of cars that are all going about the same speed, about 20 miles an hour. Normally, if there's only one car, I will be able to DQ them, but I won't be able to DQ all of them all at the same time, so this is going to be sketchy. Sam Dio is going to get held up by the 17 as he's going to chop block the 42. The 17 is going to chop block the 77 there, and now this is going to be fairly chaotic for the moment in the Daytona 500.
Look at Jordan Edwards snaking his way through. Fogelman behind, trying to see a way through. The 21 there of Haley Anderson Jr. I don't know if she's a culprit holding this entire train up. It looks like it. But Samadillo, who was leading this race a lap ago, is now stuck behind extremely slow cars. And now the leaders are behind very slow Bradley Reed and very slow Matthew Burnett. Samadillo and Eli Bright and Carson Miller finally getting around this pack. Still behind Bradley Ream is the race leader of Emily York Watson. Are they going to try and split the 22? Yes, they are. York Watson goes to the outside. Is Edwards going to jump to the inside? Yes, he will. Bradley Ream goes to the middle. 3 wide for the lead with a lap car in the middle. And now side by side for said lead. But meanwhile, this pack has been broken up amazingly here, Nathan.
The 16 car pack is no more. And this is what I was afraid of. So many equally damaged race cars that is holding up almost everybody here, and we gotta see how long it takes for this pack to bunch back up and close back in. And we gotta see, that is if the lap cars for a while, and then these guys are going a little bit faster. So hopefully that is the only time we catch up to these guys that have been very, very slow. But this has been a typical 500, I would say. We see what's early on, not normally 3 of them, but now we got lap cars in the way here. But how about 3 Joe Gibbs cars still in the hunt, listing Unable, Juan Kennington, and Nick Lopez. But meanwhile, we got 12 laps to go. Looks like everyone has gone past the lap cars. And how about some of these names up here? We got Eli Boy, who was terrible in qualifying, but he has survived and he's up to 3rd. Carson Miller, Duncan Halveston, Nicholas Samuels all the way back on the move. And how about Bruno Diacono? Trackhouse was terrible in qualifying, and this car lost the draft in his duel on Wednesday night. He has survived the carnage and he is inside of the top 10.
Yeah, definitely. You're talking about the JGR Toyotas right there. Your help is where you find them, and your help is your teammates, I guess, in this situation where you have just so many little packs, little cars trying to piece together. It was almost like IRL, what was it, 2024 with Toyotas at Talladega trying to work together. Something like this is happening right here in front of us. Eli Bright and this entire pack for about 5 or so cars was single file for a split second. Carson Miller jumps to the inside. Eli Bright will join him down there in the bottom lane. So will Reggie Fogelman, the most aggressive driver of the day so far. This pack will catch back up to York Watson and Jordan Edwards here very shortly. But Fogelman trying to make up ground before it is all said and done and coming back to the stripe. We will have 10 laps to go, and Eli Bright knows that. That's why he's got a huge run to the inside of the 9 car. He's taking it side by side for P number 2. York Watson loves to see this, but this side by side is going to bring everyone back together. York Watson leads the Daytona 500. 10 laps to go to settle it. In one of the most bizarre races I have ever seen here in the JBL Cup Series. Definitely the most bizarre JBL Daytona 500 I have ever bared witness to. And we are about to catch a very slow 38 Logan Williams.
Absolutely. Last year, I said it was a very bizarre 500 for it being caution-free and having a bunch of mechanical issues. And this year, we've not had a lot of mechanical issues, but we have had a bunch of cautions. And it's going to be very sketchy here. Emilio Watson's going to get clear of Logan Williams in the 38 machine. And so will Blight, so will Sam Dio, and so will Carson Miller. Diacomo's going to get sorely held up, same with Jordan Edwards and Reggie Fogelman. This might allow this group to close back in slightly. You got Egan, Hernandez, Kennington, Abel, Lopez, and Stout all in the second group. And the moon is, that's a tough way for Ayers. He was strong all day. He has lost the draft, and that's it. Everyone else is a lap car and a damaged car at this point. Eli Bright getting pushed from Sam Dio to the lead with 8 laps to go at the line in the Daytona 500.
As of this moment, besides Rogel way in the back there, we have a 4-car breakaway. Sam Dio trying to take a peek to the outside. Nothing there. York Watson's going to go there and help. Carson Miller, nobody to the inside except for now. Is Bright going to join him down there once again? No, Bright jumps to the outside, but Miller doesn't even need that. He has the inside to his advantage. York Watson's still working that in P number 4, and here comes Rogel in the number 3 car. With him is everybody else. Let's see who's behind him. Nope, just Rogel. Eli Bright still leads down the backstretch. The 4 car, Duncan Halverston, as well as, I believe that is Reggie Fogelman, joined by the number 9 dual winner, Jordan Edwards. Edwards peeks to the inside and will take it to the inside. Fogelman to the outside, and now side by side, Sam Dio to the inside here for the lead of the Daytona 500, and York Watson's going to join him there on the inside. Rogel will help Eli Bright there on the outside. Carson Miller to the inside. We have 3 cars on the inside, 2 on the out, and we are about to catch another lap car, the pole sitter of this race, and we're about to catch another 3 cars here with just 6 laps to go in the Daytona 500.
Oh boy, we're going to catch up to lap cars for probably the final time. We got the 98 of the Pulsar, Cement Oscar, Alexander and Matthew Hubert. 6 to go at the line right now. At the line, 7 right now. And these guys are going to block the lead pack, and this is going to possibly allow these guys to close back in.
Just when we thought we had 4-car breakaway, it turned into 7 or so, and now we might have an entire full pack battling it out with 5 or so laps to go. The pole sitter being split 3 wide. There goes York Watson. What a move by the rookie there, putting it 3 wide to reclaim the lead. Joining her is Rogel in the 3 car, and everybody on the outside are just a bunch of slow cars except for Eli Bright. Here comes the rest of the pack here, Nathan. Bryce Egan's going to get held up very slightly, but Nick Lopez is going to fall all the way back. He's going to rejoin this pack. Here comes Carson Miller with help from Jordan Edwards behind. It is anybody's game here, Nathan. I believe we caught the last of lap traffic, but with that said, that broke up this pack, possibly for the final time, but in a big way. Leaders in turn number 4. Now everybody, all the rest of the lap cars just exited the trial oval, entering turn number 1. Leaders just reached 5 laps to go. York Watson leads side by side. There's everybody else. Here's the lead pack. Here comes Jordan Edwards with push from Halverson behind with help from Samadillo behind. 4 cars on the inside, 2 on the out. And here comes Fogelman trying to sniff a draft, trying to see what little he can do late in this race here. He's going to try to go to the inside. There's Bryce Egan. Another very strong car back in this race, back in this win once again. He's going to throw his hat back in it, but it's still York Watson leading.
It's going to be very interesting of how this all shakes out late in this Daytona 500. You're trying to get these cars out of the way. I don't know if it's going to matter at the moment, but it's going to be 4 laps to go for the Daytona 500. Emily York Watson out front. Jordan Edwards in second. Samadillo in the 3rd position. Here late in the going. And Samadillo has a fantastic push from behind. And he's going to get there side by side. We did not DQ these 3 in time. That's going to mess up everything here. And 3 and 4. Oh boy.
But it might not even matter because all the lanes are jammed here, Nathan. Samadillo trying to get around, nothing he can do. York Watson trying to get around, nothing she can do. Everybody trying to jockey for position, and we might have a crash. There goes Rakowski trying to turn Egan, trying to get down to pit road. Everybody saves it. We are still green. 3 laps to go. Everybody hangs on to it. It's York Watson who re-inherits the lead once again, Nathan. I don't know if that's all she wrote literally for Emily York Watson, but Samadillo is going to try mightily with help from Jordan Edwards, who knows how to get it done here at Daytona. The dual winner from this past week will try and either help Samadillo, a Chevy teammate, to the win of the Daytona 500, or will help himself to the win of the Daytona 500, but I believe that will be the last of lap cars.
Absolutely, that's not what we wanted to do there. We might have DQ'd them a lap behind, and that really held up everybody. So I do apologize about that. It's the Daytona 500. This is a crapshoot anyway. But Samadillo going for the race lead. 2 laps to go, and it's going to be a 5-car battle for the race win. Everyone that is up here is trying to go for the first JBL Cup Series race win in the Daytona 500. Samadillo was really consistent last year. Made the chase, and he was not able to do so. Jordan has won his dual race, and he's not been able to get a points race win yet in the JBL Cup Series. It's going to be the Power one to go this time by. This pat is pretty big, but they're going to run out of time here. Samadillo is out front, and it will be the Power one to go in maybe the weirdest Daytona 500 that we've seen. Is the Power one to go with Samadillo out front, Emily York Watson in second, Jordan Edwards in third, and then Fogelman and Egan rounds out the top 5.
Definitely the weirdest I have ever seen. Probably the weirdest you've ever seen. Samadillo might have inherited the lead just a lap too early. Here comes Emily York Watson with a huge head of steam. Where will she go? She'll probably go bottom if she has the run. There she goes, peeking inside. She's there, the quarter panel of the 77, entering turn 3 for the final time. Will Edwards decide this at all, or will we end side by side? Samadillo on the outside, York Watson on the inside. Lap cars ahead.
Lap cars up ahead. Emily Watson gonna try and block Samadillo. Samadillo with a crossover move. It will be Emily York Watson winning the strangest Daytona 500 ever. And Emily York Watson for Hayat Motorsports, the 98 car, won the pole, was dominant in the duel. And it was not the 98, it was the 47 of Emily York Watson, the rookie, getting career win number 1. And her first start in the JBL Cup Series in a 500 that I don't even know what to say. What a race though, and Emily Watson gets the job done in the Daytona 500.
What an insane turn of events here, Nathan. An unbelievable Daytona 500, an unbelievable finish to decide it. Decided on the last lap. Samadillo thought he had it, but it was a lap too early. York Watson will take another victory parade lap to adore the Daytona Floridians. And man, what a race win on your debut. Nonetheless, Nathan, unbelievable for Emily York Watson for Hayek Motorsports. It wasn't the Hayek Motorsports car that we thought was going to win, but alas, it was Emily York Watson getting it done for Hayek Motorsports.
Absolutely, and for Emily York Watson, had a fantastic 2025 season over on HG the channel, and that has carried over into this channel, and what a race win. For Emily York Watson joins the list of drivers that have won this race, and it's gonna be interesting of how her season goes from here. But what a weird 500, to say the least. One test race it went caution free. This one, did not. So, don't know what Daytona was on today, but that was definitely interesting to say the least. I do apologize for the ending though. I wanted to get the lap close out of the way. I didn't get out of the way in time. I was a lap short on that. So we only have 5 cars, but I tried. I just don't know. Emily Jo Watson gets the race win. Nicholas Samadillo in second. Joanna was in third. Bryce Egan in fourth. Reggie Folkman, the highest 500 only car, in fifth. Bright, Dawn, Giacomo, Killington, and Abel, the top 10. Nick Lopez, Jordan Stout, Carson Miller, Anthony Hernandez, Duncan Allison, William Ayers, Anna Miller, Kenneth Miller, and Travis Crampton, the 19 cars on the lead lap. And then so many cars were winning, and so many were a lap down. And then those were the 5 cars that tried to get out of the way, but we did it 1 lap too late. And then Sam Vitale blew up, Duncan Ward, Bucky Campbell, Sarah Taylor, John Anders, Trey Bauer, and Juan Garcia all in the garage from this Daytona 500. This is definitely a really weird Daytona 500, to say the least. I don't know how I feel, but we gotta get this out for you guys, so this one will be interesting. 3 cautions, all in the first half, none in the second half, a lot of lap traffic, and we just did some good racing until we caught with lap traffic, and then tried getting them out of the way. It didn't, and it is a rookie of Emily York Watson getting the job done. What's the final thoughts, Bronson, on the weirdest 500, I guess, that we've ever seen in the JBL Cup Series?
Well, absolutely. I know you are kind of at a loss for words, but I got a handful of words to say. Emily York Watson, Daytona 500 winner, and she doesn't need to win another race for the rest of her career. She will be in that exclusive, now 7-driver list to call themselves Daytona 500 winners. No driver yet has gone back-to-back or repeat this race, so we will keep 7 drivers to have won this race. Samadillo had the car, was easily the best car late in this one, just timed it out. Not great, unfortunately. My pick of the race, the 23 of Jordan Stout. Where did he finish? He finished 12th here when it was all said and done, right ahead of 23XI teammate Carson Miller. Great race from him. Another rookie I want to highlight, the 10. I know he didn't get really his flowers, but I want to give him immediately the 10 of Bucky Campbell. What a fast car. What a great effort. Hope to see a lot from him this season. That's pretty much all the notes I got. I know you didn't like it, Nathan, but that's what this race is. It's a battle of whose car is the fastest, the best, and which driver ability can get through the carnage. It is a race purely of attrition now.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year, went caution free, and that was the oddball one of the Daytona 500. Most of these have had a lot of cautions to them, and it's kind of crazy because the first one that we did at this race, not gonna say who won, but it went caution free, and then the second one where I tried something, and they had 3 cautions, so it's hard to tell, and I will just say, break the 4th wall in testing with this new slight adjustment I did, the most cautions I had was 2, not 3, in 25 laps, so I don't know. It's Daytona. I've done enough Daytona for the past week, recording. I'm gonna get to a real racetrack of Atlanta, and that's that is where the real season begins with Atlanta. 19 races to go until the regular season ends at Homestead, Miami. And I'm looking forward to the season. I know this is not the 500 that we really wanted, but I think this season is going to be a lot of fun. And the real season kicks off with the John Deere 400 this Saturday at Atlanta Speedway. Watson, what's the final thoughts before we head on down, or I guess head on up to Atlanta for race 2 of the season?
Hope it's warmer in Atlanta than it is here at Daytona, but what a race that we just saw. Definitely one of the most unusual, probably we'll never see a style of racing like this that we saw today here in the Daytona 500, but that's what makes the Daytona 500 so prestigious, so exclusive, and that's why we have an exclusive list of drivers to have won this thing. Nathan, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. And with all the drivers in the JBL Cup Series, it's kind of amazing that at some tracks, some drivers have won that multiple times, but here at Daytona for the 500, no one has won it twice, and that will continue. And as far as next year, we will see if Emily Watson or John Stout can go and get the second in the Daytona 500. Thanks for once a minute for joining me up here in the booth. I cannot wait to see what the Discord has to say about this race, because this is going to be interesting to say the least. We are done with Daytona. Thank you for a great Speedweeks. I know this was a solid note, kinda, to end, but it was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to Season 7 of the JBL Cup Series, Season 4 of the Krispy Kreme National Series, and of course Travis with his Kodak Dash Series. That's been a very unique concept for the first 2 weeks, and I'm looking forward to that for the rest of the year. And we're just getting started, and congratulations. Even though this was a weird 500, I didn't like it, it still doesn't shadow on the fact that Hyatt was fast this week with both cars, and it ended up being the 47 of Emily Watson for Sam Kane, rookie driver, rookie owner, winning the Season 7 Daytona 500. The points from the duels and from the Daytona 500 will be at the end of the video. Thanks for once a minute for joining me, and we will see you guys in less than a week for race 2 of the season at Atlanta Motor Speedway.